Hello. I want to tell you something. This is not a ghost story. This is not a creepypasta. This is real. This is my life. I'm a nurse. I'm Taiwanese. And I work in a hospital in New Taipei, Taiwan. I'm telling you this because I'm afraid, and I don't know how much longer I can keep pretending everything is normal. What happened to me, what is still happening to me, is something no one should ever experience. Not even in their worst nightmares. This hospital where I work is cursed, and no one knows it. The doctors, the other nurses, the security guards, they have no idea. They smile. They drink coffee. They talk about their weekend plans. Like everything is fine. But I see things they don't. I hear things they can't. Because I'm the only one who remembers the truth. Let me start from the beginning. It was supposed to be just another job. I transferred here from another clinic because this hospital had better pay. New building, good equipment, clean, quiet. Everything seemed perfect. But there was one thing that felt wrong. From the first day, I noticed a strange hallway on the east wing of the third floor. It was darker than the rest, as if the lights never fully worked there. No one ever walked down it. It wasn't on the staff map. When I asked the head nurse about it, she just smiled and said, "That part of the hospital isn't in use anymore. Forget about it." But I couldn't. Something was pulling me toward it. Then came the whispers. At first, I thought I was just tired, the usual night shift exhaustion. But they weren't in my head. They were coming from the walls, from the vents, from behind the locked doors. One night, while I was on my shift, I passed by that hallway again. But this time, it was open. The lights were flickering. And at the end of the hall, I saw 3 women. They were wearing old-fashioned nurse uniforms. The fabric was soaked in blood. Their faces were pale, lips black, their mouths smiling far too wide, almost torn at the edges. They didn't move. They just stood there. And then all at once, they tilted their heads at the same time and whispered, "You see us now." The next day, I tried to report it. I tried to tell someone. But when I brought it up, my supervisor looked confused and said, "What hallway? This hospital doesn't have a third floor east wing." I thought she was joking until I checked the map again. The hallway was gone. They'd forgotten it. All of them, like it was erased from their memory, or rewritten. But I hadn't forgotten. I started digging. I found old blueprints hidden in the archives. And I found something that changed everything. There were once 3 sisters who worked here. They were all nurses. Years ago, before this place was renovated and renamed. No one talks about them. There's no record of them in the digital system. But in a dusty old file, I found their names. I found photos. And I found a police report. They were involved in something unholy. Inside this very hospital, they practiced satanic magic. In secret, at night, with patients, with blood. They carved symbols into the basement walls. They created rituals using human tissue. And when they were discovered, they didn't run. They performed one final ritual, a blood ritual, a sacrifice. They killed themselves together on the hospital floor. And with their death, they cursed this place. The files say it was a suicide pact. But I know better. It was a binding. They tied themselves to this hospital forever. And now only I can see them. I don't know why. I don't know what they want from me. But they're getting closer. And I know something terrible is coming. I found a note scratched into the back of an old drawer with what looked like a fingernail. I'll tell you about that later. But just know this. I'm not telling this story for entertainment. I'm telling it because I'm scared. Because I can't leave this hospital anymore. And if you're hearing this, maybe they're already coming for you too. It happened 3 nights ago. I was in the nurse's office, trying to find an old patient report that had somehow gone missing. I opened drawer after drawer, nothing. Most of the cabinets were locked or rusted shut from years of neglect. But one old wooden drawer in the back, one that hadn't been used in years, slid open with a sound like nails scratching across bone. Inside it was empty, except for a piece of paper. No, not paper. Parchment. Yellowed. Wrinkled. Stained. And the writing, it looked carved, like someone had scratched it in with a needle or maybe even a fingernail. The ink wasn't black. It was dark red, It didn't look like ink at all. I picked it up and read it under my desk lamp. And what I read will haunt me forever. Mother, you forgot us. You loved another man. You left father. You married again. And you gave her, your new daughter, everything. You stopped visiting us. You stopped touching our hair. You stopped praying with us. You stopped loving us. We were obedient. We were loyal. We were your daughters too. But you threw us away like trash. You will pay. We curse you, and we curse your new daughter. May her skin rot. May her soul twist. May she scream in dreams and never wake. You chose her. Now suffer with her. This curse is our blood. This curse is your punishment. Satan, Satan, Satan. Curse her. Curse you. Curse this hospital with our blood. The moment I finished reading, something snapped inside my head. A pain shot through my skull like a rusty nail being driven into the center of my brain. I gasped and grabbed my head. My vision blurred. My heart was racing. The room spun. I froze. The air went still. Cold. Too cold. And then I heard the voices again. Whispers. From all directions. You read it. You should not have read it. I looked up. They were there. The three sisters. Standing in the room. Right in front of me. Pale skin. Sunken eyes. Black mouth stretched wide into permanent grins. One of them stepped forward, slowly, and held something in her hand. A syringe. Long old. The liquid inside was black and thick, like tar. If you don't listen, she whispered, you will suffer. Your family will suffer. We can make your life a nightmare. You will never leave. You belong to us now. I screamed. I tried to run. My legs wouldn't move. It was like the room had turned to water and I was drowning in it. She walked up to me and pressed the needle into my neck. Couldn't stop her. Couldn't breathe. The curse is in you now. You are one of us. And everything went black. When I woke up, I was lying on a stretcher. Bright lights above me. The white walls of the break room. My head was pounding. My throat was dry. One of my colleagues, a nurse named Liling, was leaning over me. Hey, are you okay? You fainted or something. Here, drink this. She handed me a glass of water. I drank it slowly, still shaking. I wanted to tell her. I wanted to scream. There's something in this hospital. But how could I? Would she believe me? No, no one ever does. Later that day, I was checking on a patient in room 4C, an elderly woman with dementia. As I changed her for, she grabbed my wrist suddenly and whispered, "You saw them, didn't you?" I froze. "The sisters," she said. "They come at night. Always three. Always bleeding. I knew their mother. She brought them here. She said it was safer, that they could work and learn and heal. But they never healed. They only hurt. She forgot them. And now, they've forgotten who they are. They only remember the pain." My heart was thudding in my chest. "I see them too," she whispered. "But they only talk to you now. You're next, aren't you?" The fourth sister. Couldn't sleep that night. I kept seeing the syringe in my neck. Kept hearing that phrase echo in my mind. "You are one of us." My body still felt different. Like something was inside me now. Like I wasn't fully myself anymore. And when I looked in the mirror that night, for a moment, just a second, I saw one of the sisters standing behind me, smiling. It started with something simple. A whisper from one of the junior nurses during my shift. "Can you check room 308? We just admitted someone. No ID, but she's unconscious. Looks older. They need help setting up the monitors." Her voice sounded off cold, robotic. Her eyes didn't blink. Her hands were shaking. I asked who admitted the patient, and she paused. "She came in by herself," she said. I think that didn't make sense. How could someone in a coma walk in alone? I walked down the hallway toward room 308. I didn't know what I was expecting, but it definitely wasn't what I found. The lights in the room were flickering. The air was cold, like someone had opened a window, but the windows were sealed. And on the bed, surrounded by machines, was my mother. I froze. I couldn't move. Couldn't breathe. I just stood there, my hand over my mouth. No, 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 no. This isn't real. But it was. It was her. My mother. Pale. Motionless. Tubes in her arms. Her heartbeat soft and slow on the monitor. How did she get here? Why? When? I backed away, nearly tripping over the forecart. And then I heard them. Whispers. Coming from the shadows. You brought her here. The lights buzzed and dimmed. The door behind me slammed shut. And then, the sisters appeared. One on each side of the bed, and one at the foot, surrounding my mother like they were protecting her or preparing her. They were even more terrifying than before. Their skin looked rotten, their eyes sunken and black, their mouths stretching unnaturally. Blood dripped from their fingers onto the floor, creating red circles around the bed. She was not supposed to be here, the middle sister whispered. But now she is. Do you want to know how she got here? You opened the door. You let her in. You brought her here. I shook my head. No, I didn't. I didn't bring her here. I didn't. You read the note. You spoke our names. You let us in. You are the invitation. Then the youngest sister, the one with the needle, stepped forward. She will die, unless you obey. But here's the best part. She leaned in, smiling. Even if you do obey, she still might die. Because we are inside her now. And inside you. I screamed. I ran to the bed and shook my mother. Wake up. Wake up. Please wake up. But her eyes stayed shut. Her breathing got slower. Her skin turned colder. Look at her neck, one of the sisters said. I pulled the blanket down and saw it. A burned symbol carved into the side of her throat. The same symbol I saw in the ritual room. It was real. They had marked her. The guilt hit me like a truck. They were right. I had opened the door. I read the note. I spoke their names. I brought the curse back to life. And now, my mother was paying the price. We gave you a choice, the oldest one whispered. You ignored us, so we punished you. But now we offer a new deal. She handed me a pair of surgical scissors. Do one thing for us. Follow instructions. Be our eyes. Be our voice. Be our hand. If you do, maybe she lives. If you don't, she dies tonight. And no one will believe you murdered her. But we will. And then they vanished. The lights returned to normal. The machines beeped steadily. And the door slowly creaked open. I was left alone, with the scissors in my hand. And my mother unconscious, cursed, and fading. When the other nurse walked by minutes later, she glanced in and smiled. Oh, she's stable. I don't know how she got here, but I guess someone already admitted her. Weird, right? I didn't respond. I was still standing there, still holding the scissors, still hearing the sisters' whispers in my head. You brought her here. You are one of us now. I don't know what to do anymore. They whisper to me when I sleep. They stand behind me when I work. They breathe down my neck when no one's watching. I tried to ignore them. I tried to pray, but the pain got worse. My mother's condition is declining. The doctors say it's just her brain shutting down, but they don't see what I see. They don't see the black veins crawling down her neck. They don't see the pentagram-shaped bruises on her chest. They don't hear the sound of 3 girls humming outside her hospital room at 3 a.m. Only I do, because I belong to them now. They gave me a choice, either obey or bury my mother. So I obeyed. Last night, they gave me instructions. They told me to go to the old operating theater, the one that's been closed off since the fire 20 years ago. I broke in after midnight. It was cold, so cold it hurt to breathe. They were waiting for me, 3 shadows standing in a triangle. In the center of the room was a ritual circle drawn in blood. There were bones, I don't know if they were human, and candles made of what looked like melted skin. And a book, a black book. The cover was leather, or something like leather. I don't want to know what. The title was carved in deep letters. The Obedience Ritual. They told me to open it. They told me to read aloud. And I did. I don't remember everything I said, but I remember the screaming, the burning sensation under my skin, the way my own hands moved without my permission, slicing into my arm, dripping blood into the circle. The way my own voice changed, deeper, hollow, not mine. The ritual had begun. They made me curse someone. Patient. A real patient. A man who'd been in the hospital for weeks recovering from a car crash. Innocent. Harmless. They told me to whisper something in his ear while he slept. To place a bone under his bed. And to walk away. I did it. And the next morning, he was dead. No wounds. No symptoms. Just gone. The doctors couldn't explain it. They said it must have been a sudden reaction. An unexplained death. But I knew better. The black magic worked. The curse claimed him. And my mother, she opened her eyes for the first time in days. I haven't slept since. I hear crying in the vents. The lights in my apartment flicker in perfect rhythm. 3 pulses. 1 for each sister. They follow me home. They whisper my name from under my bed. They tell me what to do. And I do it. Because if I don't, they say they'll make me watch my mother rot alive, and I believe them. Yesterday, I walked into work, and I couldn't stop smiling. Not because I was happy, but because my face wouldn't let me stop. It's happening. I'm changing. Today, they found me sitting in the break room, bleeding, muttering the ritual again and again. I don't remember it, but I woke up in a psychiatric ward. Padded walls, soft restraints. The doctors say I suffered a breakdown. They say I've lost touch with reality. But this is reality. This is what happens when you read the note, when you listen to the whispers, when you invite the sisters in. I tried to stop it. I really did. But I had to choose between saving my mother or saving myself, and I chose her. So now I write this from inside a padded room. My fingernails are broken from scratching symbols into the walls. The nurses outside talk like I'm crazy, but I'm not crazy. I'm obedient. And before they take my notebook away, I just want to say this. Thank you for listening to me. This is my story, a true story. And I've given this letter to someone in my family. I asked them to send it to someone called Mr. Creepy Nightmare to make sure it's heard. Because if I disappear, or if something happens to my mother, you'll know why. So next time, be careful. Don't read the note. Don't walk into the wrong hallway. And don't listen to the voices. Because once you hear them, they hear you too.